Hey coin collectors, it's DC doing another video for the Big D Coin channel, and this is going to be a kind of a fun video. It's a 1971 United States $quarter coin or 25-cent coin. It says Liberty at the top of each of them, In God We Trust, under the chin of George Washington, who's facing to the left, and then 1971 at the bottom, and back here where his ponytail is tied is where the mint mark would be. And then you see on this one it's a D for Denver, and here there's nothing, so that means it's a Philadelphia mint from 1971, because Philadelphia didn't put any P's on the quarters in 1971. Now this is a copper nickel clad copper coin, and it has been that way since 1965 when they switched over from the silver. And if you tip it up on the side, you can see that it is indeed copper on the inside. You see that brown, that's a copper. You see that there's these little lines across, called a milled rim sometimes, or a reeded rim. There are 119 of these reeds, if you can count all the lines going across, 119 going around. This is the coin that you have to flip over to get the back right side up. In other words, you can't flip it sideways because the back will be upside down. But what you can do is flip it front ways. So flip it like this, and you get the back right side up. So the back faces in a different direction than the front. And some coins do it some ways, and some coins do it in other ways. On the back, when we start looking at it, we see that it says United States of America here. E pluribus unum right over the eagle's head. Down here it says $quarter. And let's get that light a little bit better. Down here it says $quarter. Nowhere does it say 25 cents on the US coin. And the eagle is holding a shaft of arrows, and underneath the eagle is an olive wreath, kind of going to both sides. Olive for peace, the eagle and the arrows a sign of war or strength. And this particular coin, the Philadelphia coin, this is one of the years that they didn't make as many in Philly as they made in Denver. So in Philadelphia in 1971, they made 109 million of these, and then they made 258 million of the Denvers. So the Denver Mint, they made 2.5 times as many. In fact, this 1971 is the second lowest mintage ever for the modern quarter at the Philadelphia Mint. So let's take a look at that D. And it turns out that even though they made 2.5 times as many Ds, the Ds are going to be the valuable ones here. There is, and of course they made S coins, and there is a proof San Francisco Mint from 1971, and they made 3.2 million of those, and those aren't incredibly valuable. They're worth $3 to $5 in MS or Mint State 65 condition. So that's kind of odd. You think that they'd be worth more, but they're not. So the proof coins aren't the valuable coins from 1971. The valuable coins from 1971 are the double die reverse coins from 1971. Oh, look at this bend on here. Can you see this over on the left? This coin actually got bent somehow, and it has like a ridge here. Well, when we look on the back, the way that you can tell the double dies in a lot of places, look at these eyes is probably one of the best places to look. The eye over here in America. And we see that this is really worn down. The A and M have scraped a little bit. This coin is kind of, you can tell it got beat up, if only because of this. You see it looks like the U and the N are going to go off the edge, but they're not really. This edge is just worn down. So if you look over here, you'll see a doubling, and the doubling is very evident. If you want to see a really good video on the doubling, there's a Treasure Town video that talks about this 1971 quarter also. So what you do is you find the D, you flip it over, and you look for a doubling in the letters, and on those ones that have the doubling, it is very evident. So here's another D. Let's see if we can see anything on this one. No, we see a real flattening there, but we're not seeing any doubling. And what you'll see is this almost looks like one of these letters is put right on top of another of the same letter. And so no doubling there. We'll take a look at a couple more. No doubling there. Now, The United States quarter in 1971 was not the largest coin of the 71 coins. There were 2 coins in 1971 that were larger, in fact, much larger. And here's the 71D. Here is one of the larger ones, and that's, of course, the Kennedy half dollar. Now, people don't use the half dollars much anymore, but the 1971 Kennedy halves are still out there. The 1971, it has no silver in it. We see that, again, it's the copper nickel plated copper center. And then on the back, we see that it has this United States of America half dollar. So while the quarter doesn't say 25 cents on it anywhere, it says quarter dollar. The half doesn't say 50 cents on it anywhere. It just says half dollar. And then there was one even bigger, and that is the 1971 $1 Eisenhower. And this says Liberty to top, in God we trust under his chin, 1971 here. And the back of the 1971 Eisenhower, of course, is the Frank Asparo. We see the FG, the Apollo 11 insignia, eagle landing on the moon. United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum below, and $1 here. So, but guess what? If you can find the double die 1971D, it's going to be much, much more valuable. You might, even in this condition, see how beat up this is? You might be able to get $200 to $300 for a 1971 double die, even in beat up conditions. So look for those, get all your Ds, flip them all over, look in the writing on the back, and don't knock your camera over when you're doing it, and see if you can see any doubling. And these you can find in your pocket all the time, the 1971s, because they're of no real value otherwise. There's a few other kind of era coins. There is a 1971, I believe, on a dime planchet, and that's the weirdest thing in the world that you'll see, and that's worth a lot of money. But other than that, look for the D, look for the double die reverse of the DDR, and that's where you're going to find your money in the 1971 quarters. All right, have a great day from Big D Coins, and hopefully you'll subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.